58, chasing the lights. Both had battles that brought them low, but they found a way to steal the show. Health concerns were weighing them down till they found a path that turned it around. Carnivore diet, they took the leap, finding strength in the promises they keep. Now they're living wild, living free, healing body and mind. Just wait and see. Tune into the truth every single week. Real talk with Brian and Johnny. That's the peak. 8 p.m. on YouTube. Gather near. Uplifting vibes. Let's give a cheer.
All right, we are live. Hello, everybody. Hey, Johnny, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Brian. How are you doing tonight?
Good, good. We have quite a few people already here. Linda is here. Hello.
Welcome, everybody. Hey, Linda.
We got Rick from Miami. Hello.
Rick from Miami.
Greg is here. Good to see you, Greg.
Greg.
Bride's Biscuit. Paul is here. Hello.
Hey, Paul.
Thomas, Target Prime Rib.
Thomas, great job last week, buddy.
Yes, that was a fun time. Bacon Runner. Hello.
Hey, Bacon Runner.
Papa Carnivore, Peter.
Hey, Peter.
And I think that's everybody that's in the chat so far.
Hello, everybody.
All right. So let's see. Today's topic is going to be talking about the future of carnivore. And I know Johnny's got some stuff to talk about with this topic, I guess. I don't know anything more than anybody else does from his video. So, Johnny, I'm going to kick it over to you and let you kick us off.
Well, Brian, you know, sometimes we find ourselves at a crossroads in life, and whether we want to or not, and sometimes we're more busy at times than we are at other times. And here lately, with some changes at my job, I got promoted to supervisor of the North Carolina operations, which was, I'm honored to do that. It just means more responsibility, more hours, more stuff to do, a little more stress, but not necessarily bad stress. I kind of enjoy the challenge that's going on. But I work so hard at YouTube, and I know you do too, Brian. I see all the content you put out. Other people, you know, Peter's putting out great content. Thomas is putting out great content. And at some point in time, you just run out of time. You just run out of time to do everything. And I'm married. I got a wife that would probably like to spend a little time with me during the week. And I've taken on additional shifts at work. So going forward, as far as my Carnivore YouTube channel, I don't know that I'm going to be as aggressive at putting out content. You know, there might be a misconception. People think we make a lot of money off YouTube. And from time to time, I do get a check from YouTube. But to be honest with you, if you look at how many hours I put in versus how much money I make, it's around 15 cents an hour, 20 cents an hour. I mean, it literally is. I do enjoy putting out content. I love sharing the message. You guys know what kind of job I do. I work on an ambulance where I take sick people from a hospital to a nursing home, or from a hospital to hospice or home or whatever. So I have, you know, 100 examples a day, every day, why I should continue to be carnivore and work really hard at that. And I do want to spread the message. It's just that you kind of get burnt out. You know, I understand, you know, Greg and his wife moved. They were in the same house for years, and they moved and they built a new house. And Greg had to step away, and this, you know, my wife and I are getting ready to put our house on the market. And we've been here for 21 years. So we got 21 years of stuff that we got to go through and sort and, you know, prepackage and get rid of stuff. And then we're going to be building a new house starting probably the first of the year, you know, 200 miles away. So I just don't know how much I can commit to doing weekly content. I would love to, you know, if I won the lottery, I would make content every day because I love it. And if it didn't pay me a nickel, I'd still do it. But at some point in time, it gets to the point where you got to do an analysis of, you know, I can work one extra day at my job, an overtime shift, and make about $500 in one day. Or I can work hours and hours and hours and hours on YouTube videos, putting out content that I believe in wholeheartedly, that I love, and make, $1.50. Sometimes I make $1 a week, $1.80 a week. So when you look at it like that, and Rick may give me a hard time because he's somewhat critical of people that are in this to make money, and Rick is right. I'm not in it to make money, but at some point in time, the amount of effort you put in has got to somewhat match the rewards you get out. And I've had the same number of subscribers for a couple of years now, I guess, or right at a year. About 3,300 plus subscribers. Not getting a whole lot of new subscribers. When I put a video out, if it's a decent, video that I feel like is good, the good content, it's informative, I might get 100 views. I put out a content where the thumbnail is me laying in a hospital bed and it gets 30,000 views. It's such a dichotomy. I think everybody's looking for bad news. And if you do carnivore and you do it correctly and you make it a part of your life, there's not a lot of bad news to put out there. So it's tough to come up with shocking thumbnails to gather attention when everything's going well, when you're healing your body with carnivore. So I don't know. And I might just be overly tired. I might regret everything I'm saying. Tomorrow morning I might wake up and say, oh gosh, what have I said? What have I done? But that's just what's on my heart right now. I think carnivore, the movement itself, is gaining momentum. I'm seeing a lot of that. I follow a lot of people on Facebook. I'm in all the groups, and it looks like it's gaining momentum. And I think as more and more people have success with it and they share it with their people online or their family, friends, coworkers, I think going forward, you're going to see the carnivore movement begin to really expand. But I don't know that I'll be putting out weekly videos. And if I do, there won't be a whole lot of editing. You told me, Brian, you told me this 5 or 6 months ago. You spend all day editing a video, literally hours editing and uploading a video. And it doesn't do that much better than if you just sit down and talk and explain the topic that you're going to discuss that day without a lot of edits. I notice you keep in all if you have or you kind of get lost in your words, you just leave it in the video, and that's probably time better spent than me going back trying to edit out all that stuff and reshoot and redo stuff. And I don't know. So that's just where I'm at. I do enjoy doing the podcast, Brian. I'm in for the long haul. As long as you'll have me, I'm going to continue to do the podcast. But I just don't know that I'm going to put out, tons of content with me running sprints and lifting weights every week like I was doing, at least not for the near future. It's cold. It's rainy. It's a lot of work to set up the cameras and the timing system and then go back and edit all the pieces together, the beginning of the sprint and the end of the sprint, to edit all that together. I have literally spent 8.5, 9 hours making an 8-minute video on more than one occasion. So that's just kind of where I'm at. Have I messed up on carnivore lately? Yeah, you can look at my face and tell I've put on a little bit of weight. I'm just exhausted. I just seem like I'm exhausted all the time. I'm burning the candle at 3 ends. So anyway, I'll quit rambling now. You talk.
All right. Well, I know you put a lot of effort into your videos, a lot of time and effort. I know, like when you came down to see me and we did the video together, you got a lot of equipment that you use and so forth, and that takes a lot of time and effort and money. And I completely understand that it's hard to spend that much time doing things. And I know at some point a while back, maybe, I don't know, a year, maybe less than that ago, I kind of got to the point that I was burned out with doing all the editing on videos and stuff too. So like you mentioned, I pretty much just record and I don't edit anything out. I maybe just make sure the beginning and the end sounds good and that's it. And that's what I've been doing for the longest time now, because it's kind of the same thing for me. It gets like, this is not my day job, because I have a day job that I actually get paid at. I don't really get money the same as you with this, that's not why I do this. But I have to have a day job because I have to have money to pay for things. So this is a secondary thing, and I don't have a lot of time necessarily to put into it. So I completely understand where you're coming from. And that's kind of why I've done what I've done, where I just don't really edit the videos so much anymore. And even when I did, it would be so hit or miss as to what video would get a lot of views and which ones would just fall flat on his face, you know. So, and yeah, Rick says, I guess my way is the simplest way to make content. You know, just get on a bike or in your
It really
truck
is.
and record. That really is. And I have seen a lot of people in not just this genre, but a lot of different genres on YouTube that's what they do now. That seems to be like the more popular thing to do now. And I think part of it is that, you know, people see you as a real person too. They see you at times fumble through what you're saying, and they just see you as more of a real person, that you're really talking to them and not necessarily just reading from a script or anything like that. So anyway, but as you know, just mentioned about the real talk on Wednesdays. As long as you want to keep doing that, I am good to keep doing that with you. So that's great. And yeah, I guess we got a topic still to talk about tonight. So you talked a little bit about your future, and you did mention a little bit about Carnivore. I'm going to bring this up, and I can't remember. I think I brought this up in a video I just recently did. Maybe, it's an interview I just did. Matter of fact, I have a new interview that came out this morning with Carl, who is been doing really low carb and then transitioned to carnivore, but off and on for 30 years. Interesting story. He has lost over 100 pounds 4 times in his life. He would get on the bandwagon, lose the weight, and then he'd slowly slip away, fade away from doing carnivore or low carb, whatever. And over the next 3 to 5 years, he would gain 100 pounds back. And then he'd be like, what am I doing? He'd go back to it and he'd lose 100 pounds. Now he's been on carnivore here for about 3 to 4 years, where he's maintained the weight loss. So that's good. Been pretty healthy. He's 66 years old. He's still in really good health. So go check that video out if you haven't seen the interview. A little bit long, not too bad, like 30, 35 minutes, I think. But anyway, you should check that video out. Nice to hear from different people that are doing carnivore.
Right.
Okay. I do have one thing I want to say, though, about this whole topic of the future of carnivore, and is it growing? The other night, my wife and I were watching a Hallmark Christmas movie. Okay. Yes, I admit I will watch Hallmark Christmas movies. And in this movie, it was like, I think it was towards the beginning, and this lady she got locked out of her house or something, her apartment. And so she was at this other guy's apartment, and she had just gotten Chinese food. And she's like, would you like some of my Chinese food that I have? And he said, no, I am doing keto. It's like the new thing in the office that everybody's doing. I've never heard something like that in a movie before, so I thought that was pretty cool. It's becoming more mainstream. That's what I'm going to say. So let's see. There have been some comments here I want to bring up. Thomas says, yeah, it is time consuming. It can be time consuming. Bride's Biscuit says, I learned to make every moment count. I chased the wrong things for far too long. My family and my health are my focus. That's perfectly said. I already told you, Rick had said, simplest way to make content, I guess, is the way that he's doing it, where just hits record, riding his bike or in his truck, driving to the store or something, and just talk to us. And Greg says, happens to everyone, take a break. I agree. Sometimes that's what you need, is a break. With the holiday coming up here, Christmas, New Year's, it's maybe a good time to take a break. Carnivore is absolutely growing. Yes. So Rick says he thinks the peak of the carnivore diet was in 2023. Interesting. I will say, I think in terms of YouTube's peak seemed to be in 2023. From what I've seen, I don't think it's just carnivore. I think it's across a lot of genres that is not getting the views that it was before in YouTube. And I think some of that is because TikTok and Facebook and Instagram do a good job of, even what's it called? Not Twitter, X, of doing lives and videos and different things like that. And I think it's taken away some of the market share from YouTube. And I think that's why YouTube has been pushing shorts so much, because it's worked really well for, like, for instance, Facebook and TikTok. What is it? Not the 16:8, but the, I don't know, 9:11 or whatever scale.
The portrait versus landscape.
There you go. Yeah. That's the better way to say it.
Yeah.
See, here I am fumbling away through things. So I think that might be part of it. I don't know. But I think that is definitely something with YouTube that has been through a lot of different genres, not just in carnivore. So I don't know. It could be, though, that maybe carnivore has peaked and that there's not quite as many people doing it. I don't know. It's a good question.
So, Brian, my wife watches a lot of homesteading content on YouTube, of course. And there's been several. There's one. It's a father and a husband and a wife and their kids. It's called the Texas Boys. And about 1.5 years ago, the father was suffering from some autoimmune issues. He was having a really tough time with his health, and he went carnivore. And they're ranchers. They're actually raised cows. And he went complete carnivore. Then his wife went carnivore. Then his kids went carnivore. So now a lot of their content is kind of off-grid stuff, but a lot of it's carnivore-centric. There's another homesteader named Patera. Her channel is Appalachian Home. I think it's Appalachian Homestead or something like that. Patera is the lady's name. That's the person on there, the personality. And her husband has really struggled the last 6 or 7 years, and he's about my age, with health issues. And he went carnivore recently. So her channel is really moving a lot towards carnivore, and she has a huge audience. She's got like 100,000 viewers. I think she makes her living off YouTube. And it's just interesting to see it in other, kind of like weaving its way through other genres. Like you said, even on the Hallmark movie, the guy talking about being keto. You look at the Department of Health and Human Services, that, Bobby Kennedy Jr., RFK Jr., he talks about the carnivore diet. And so you're starting to see it more and more places. And I think, to your point, I think Rick is right to some degree, and you are too. I think YouTube has more competition now than it's ever had. And let me qualify that. All the young people that I work with, that I tell them I have a YouTube channel, they've all subscribed. They don't ever watch, but they said, hey, man, if you went on TikTok, we would watch you. Go on TikTok. Go on TikTok. Well, I don't do TikTok. I don't know how to do TikTok. So I think YouTube has almost become, I don't want to call it a senior citizens thing, but young people aren't spending a lot of time on YouTube. They're doing the short stuff. They're doing the TikTok, the X, the Instagram. And I have a Twitter X account. I've never used it because I don't know how. I'm too stupid. I don't think I've never had a TikTok account because I don't know, it's kind of controversial. So I never really did that. But then I think I did have Instagram, and I did one post, and I don't know, I didn't do it correctly. So YouTube is just so user-friendly for somebody who's not tech savvy. And so that's why I've gravitated here. But maybe at some point in time, we need to look at, if we're trying to bring younger people in, try to bring the next generation of people who need to protect their kidneys and their liver and their heart, bring them in by putting some of this content on TikTok or Instagram. I don't know how to do it. Maybe I need to learn, but I know I put an awful lot of time and effort into YouTube for not a lot of, and I don't think I have the reach that I want. The only time I get thousands of views on my videos if I put the thumbnail's me laying in a hospital bed, because I think people are ready to pounce. They're ready to pounce. See there, carnivore, you're gonna die. These vegans, vegetarians, whatever. They're so and you read the comments on those, and I'll gain like 20 subscribers, and then a day later I'll lose 20 subscribers. So people just go on there and subscribe so they can give me a blasting comment, and then they unsubscribe. And yeah, I guess for the algorithm it kind of helps, but it doesn't help me when they unsubscribe, and they're certainly not hearing the message, the healing message that I'm trying to put forth about, a low carb or carnivore diet. So I don't know. I think carnivore will continue to get big. And if you start seeing it more in TV shows, movies, mainstream media, Dr. Barry and his wife Nisha were on Fox News and CBS, not too long ago, talking about children being carnivore. So I don't know. Yeah. My hope is that it will continue to grow. Interestingly enough, RFK Jr. has floated an idea in the government about making it to where people's insurance premiums will be tied to their BMI, their fat percentage.
Hmm.
If you're really overweight and really unhealthy, you may have to pay more for health insurance. Now, I don't know if that'll ever fly, but maybe it'll make people think, hey, what can I do? And everybody knows about these GLP-1s, all the Ozempic and Zepbound and all these things. And the thing about it is you don't need all that. You can just cut out the carbohydrates. And as more and more people realize that, who knows? I know at my job, we are so unbelievably busy. And all I do is just take, and the people are getting younger and younger. I had a 42-year-old lady the other day, cirrhosis of the liver, never drank. She's never been a drinker, never drank alcohol. Occasional drink when she was younger in college, nothing since then. And I took her home and she passed away the next day. 42 years old, cirrhosis of the liver from non-alcoholic fatty liver, which is carbohydrate poisoning. It was so sad. And I see this every day. So I hope that we can get this message out. And sometimes I feel like I'm beating my head against the wall, or not so much that. I know I'm preaching to the choir. Everybody that's in our comments right now, Brian, everybody that watches us, you and I, we'll get a couple of new subscribers, a couple of new people on the chat every couple of weeks, and that's exciting. I just wonder, are we just preaching to the choir? How can we move this message out of our bubble? Going forward in 2026, what could we, all of us, not just me and you, but Rick and Paul and Thomas, how could we really, really, really figure out a way to broaden our scope with this message? And maybe it is TikTok, Instagram, and things like that.
So I have a TikTok account and I do put videos out there sometime. Most of the videos that you have to put out there, they need to be in the landscape mode. And they need to be rather short. And it kind of feeds some of the younger people out there because they are more into quick, short content, scroll to the next thing. Okay, I see it, scroll to the next thing, so forth, right? That all said, I don't know that TikTok is really the best thing for me because that's not my thing. Like, I'm not good at that. So yeah, I'll put out some of, just like I'll get clips from some of our real talks and other videos and stuff that I will just put out there. I'll put them on Facebook too. And I might do like shorts. Yeah. Like I have a second channel that I've been doing with just shorts recently just to see how that goes. And really, it doesn't do a whole lot. It might get 1,000 views, but it's got like 16 subscribers. It's ridiculous. So that's fine. But anyway, so the whole TikTok thing doesn't translate very well for me. And I will get on there sometimes. I will say TikTok can be kind of addicting. Like when I get on there and watch other videos, there are some people on there that talk about carnivore and this way of eating and so forth that I follow. But before you know it, like you're sitting there scrolling for like 30, 45 minutes and you've looked at like 100 different videos because they're all like pretty quick and so forth. And I don't know, it's not really as much for me, but I'm also an older person. And I think you're right that there's not as many younger people doing YouTube as there used to be and so forth. So I think that they have gone more to that trend of the quick stuff. And that's why YouTube, I think, is trying to promote shorts in the last few years so much. So that's interesting. I want to go back to what you said though about RFK, or is it RFK? Yeah, RFK.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play devil's advocate here. So let's think about this because, okay, people say, let's say that this goes into fruition and you have to have a certain lower BMI to get a cheaper rate. People are going to want the cheaper rate. And what are they going to do to get that cheaper rate? They're not going to put the hard work in. They're going to get the GLP-1 shots. They're going to get liposuction, whatever it is they can do to get the lower rates, quick and easy way, not the healthy way. So that's just going to feed into the system and even more. And it's probably going to help the profits of the pharmaceuticals because they're going to get more people on those medications.
Yep.
So that's my devil's advocate piece of that.
And I don't disagree with that, Brian, because everybody, it all ties together. People have short attention spans. They want to watch a 30-second YouTube or a short or a TikTok video. They want the quick, easy fix for their BMI problem or their health problem. If I can just take a shot, I can continue to eat Cheetos and drink Coke, right? Or Pepsi. So yeah, I think to a large degree, you're right there, but there is precedent for this. I am a non-smoker. I've never used tobacco of any kind in my life ever. And I pay a cheaper rate than people I work with that do use tobacco products. So precedent has been set as far as lifestyle, paying a higher premium or paying a lower premium for a safer lifestyle, if you will. Like, if my car insurance, I have this thing called, I think it's called DriveWise. So my car insurance company tracks my driving. If I'm speeding, if I'm being reckless, it records it and my rate goes up. If I drive, I'm a little old lady. I drive in the right-hand lane, 5 miles below the speed limit, and I have everybody behind me cussing me out. So I get a better rate because I do a little bit different. I try to be safer in my driving. So I get cheaper insurance because I don't smoke. I don't use tobacco products. I don't use any alcohol of any kind and never have. I've probably had 20 beers in my whole life and that's it. Nothing in the last 5 years. So, I guess precedent is they literally could say, look, a healthier lifestyle deserves, because why does it make sense for somebody that has a, very low BMI, they have low blood pressure, they do carnivore, they get great sleep, they exercise, they do grounding, they do everything right, and they're paying the same insurance premium for somebody that you see at Walmart that's 35 years old that has to use the automated, the little electric shopping cart, and they're 500 pounds. And they're filling their cart up. You talked about this not too long ago, Brian, about somebody you saw at the store just putting just garbage after garbage after garbage in their shopping cart. And you wanted, you want to go up and talk to them. And you're paying the same insurance premiums that person is, even though their likelihood of having major, major health issues and ending up on my ambulance far, far outweigh anything you would ever do. So I don't know. And I don't know if that will push people to look at it, for the most part, if people would just read labels, I'm surprised at how many people don't know how many grams of carbs they're eating or how many grams of fat. People don't even know about seed oils. We all do because we talk about it on here incessantly, but how many people still think that Wesson oil or canola oil is the healthiest thing for you? And, all the data says it's one of the worst things you could possibly put in your body. It's a former, engine lubricant, and we're eating it. So anyway, that was just kind of a thought there. There is precedent for getting a cheaper insurance rate for a less risky lifestyle.
Yeah. So Peter says the new trend is to add back more carbs to a meat-based diet. Don't even be started with this. There's a little thing here. Are they really saying that, Peter? It seems obviously healthy to me. And then, yes, Dr. Rob Sivas, the carb addiction doc, who's addicted to carbs himself, I think, just posted a video saying that humans can't do carnivore long term due to the health risks. So I'm going to go a little Bart K here, but I'm going to be nicer than Bart K. I've never do this to people, but Dr. Rob Sivas is an idiot. I'm sorry. He doesn't understand human biology. His whole reasoning for why people can't do carnivore long term is because of different markers that he sees in blood work and A1C rise and stuff like that. And it's like he doesn't even understand that your red blood cells are staying longer. So that's why there's an A1C rise. I could go into it even more, but let me just say that I saw somebody else in here. Where was it? I saw it. Yeah. Paul says, I dropped Sivas a few years ago. He's an idiot. That's all I'm going to say. I'm being nice about it, but he's an idiot. And yes, there are people out there that are doing this trend of adding carbs back in. Some people might have valid points for why they do to try it. Doesn't mean that not eating carbs was necessarily the problem, but that's what they are thinking. And it's just like over the summer, people that were going to the sugar diet, there's these fads that come out. in some cases, I think some people are really thinking for some reason that this is what they should do. In other cases, I think there's some money involved, or there's, hey, I'm going to get views by saying that I'm doing this, or they're getting it again. It goes back to money, but they're getting some kind of influence to them that they should do this. You know, maybe they're getting a sponsor or something or whatever. So I think that kind of stuff happens too. But yeah, it definitely seems to go in cycles with people having some kind of a latest trend for them to do, and I kind of think it's crazy. Cynthia says, I believe TikTok shorts are highly addictive. Yes, I find myself scrolling without much thought, and then I see an hour or two has gone by. I have better things to do. Yes, that's the thing too. Like, I have done that. Like, maybe not an hour or two, but like half hour, 45 minutes. And I'm like, I just wasted 45 minutes of my life. And I didn't really gain anything from this. Like, I didn't really get any new information. It was just stupid stuff. In some cases, I just watched videos of people falling on camera. And I'm like, what the heck was I doing? I could have been doing something constructive.
So I don't do TikTok, but I do. I'm real big on Facebook. I watch Facebook a lot, and those little reels or whatever on Facebook, and I just scroll and scroll and scroll. And to your point, it's that dopamine hit. It's the same thing as carbohydrates. It's the same thing as cigarettes used to be back in the day. They figured out the exact right time and music and sound and light and color to trigger the best dopamine response they can, and it's so daggum hard to turn it off. Much like carbohydrates. Junk food, it's engineered to make it addictive because that dopamine hit you get from watching somebody fall on camera or laugh or giggle or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like we're being manipulated and don't even realize it. And I'm just as guilty as anybody, because I will spend an hour looking at those stupid reels on Facebook. And now that there's so many AI ones on there, like there was one this other day, this guy was like 600 pounds and he was going to do a zip line. And you could tell it was AI because he started down the zip line and then the thing broke and he tumbled down a mountain or whatever. And it was obviously AI. Nobody's going to put a 600-pound guy in the zip line. So I see myself now seeing all these AI reels on Facebook, and it's really getting hard to determine what's real and what's not real.
Yeah, it is.
Am I just watching a bunch of AI created stuff that's not even real? I mean, it'd be one thing if you're watching a real person have some type of problem. But when you're watching a computer generated image, then you're really wasting your time. And I'm confessing right here. I'm guilty of that.
I think that there are comments that show up on videos too that are AI driven or
Bots.
Whatever as well. So yeah. This is the other thing, like with Dr. Cywis, it's bad for you long term. Come on, Rick, Maggie. I don't even need to talk about anybody else. Just those two, right there. Do you think that it's been bad for them long term? Hell no. Excuse my language, but hell no, it has not been. They are two of the healthiest people around. Ridiculous. We got a question for you, Johnny. Are you still sprinting?
I haven't done it in probably a month. I want to. I definitely want to. I'm working so much now, and you guys have to understand, when I work, my shifts run from 11 hours to 15 hours. It's dark when I leave the house, and it's dark when I get home. Then when I have the day off, my wife and I are traveling down to South Carolina, where we're building our new house. Meeting with a real estate agent, and we've been looking at storage buildings because we want to start moving some of our stuff down there. So I just haven't had the time. And the days that I have had the time is, 32 degrees and misting rain. And I just don't have it in me. I'm not that motivated right now to get out in that miserable cold weather and sprint on wet grass. So the answer to your questions is not lately, although I still love doing it. I wish I could find if I could find a place to do it indoors, I would do it. I'm still going to Planet Fitness. And when I'm at Planet Fitness, when I do my workout, at the end of my workout, I'll find a part of the gym where there's not a lot of people gathered, and I do standing broad jumps to try to really, that push off, which will help me with my sprints. I watch Dr. Sean Baker. He does a lot of plyo work where he's jumping up on boxes and jumping forward. So I still do a lot of that, but I need to make time to do some more sprinting. Just got to get some better weather.
Go. I did 30 push-ups yesterday.
Cool beans.
It did not bother my leg at all, but today both of my legs are a little bit sore, but I think that's to be expected because I haven't done push-ups in a long time. And that right leg, those muscles probably still need a lot of strengthening to do. So it's to be expected that my legs are sore today. But I did 30 push-ups yesterday, which was pretty cool. First time in a few months. So I haven't done really any sprinting, although I did run a little bit one day, just very short, just to make sure I was doing good still. It's crazy. I think that I'm fully healed, and I don't understand why that quickly. But so one of these days, I'm going to get back to sprinting. One of these days. Going back to what we were saying before, Rick is living proof that you can do carnivore long-term and be perfectly healthy. Carnivore destroyed my life. Oh, Dr. Sivis. Oh my gosh, this is so see. I'm like in weird. I'm reading not this one. I'm sorry. I'm reading the comments, and I'm like, Cynthia says, "Good job, Brian." What are you saying? Good job for her. What did I do? And I'm like, oh wait, I just talked about push-ups.
Go back to Brian's business.
Live. This is why it's live, and it's not. It's unedited.
Yeah. Go back up one, Brian, to Bride's Biscuit.
Juliet is here. Hello.
Hey, Juliet.
Rage bait, anything is monetized in all social media, analytics, and clicks. Yeah.
I mean, look at my video. I can have a crappy video, but if the thumbnail is a picture of me laying in a hospital bed, which I have been in the hospital a couple times, it'll get 30,000 views. It's and then I'll do a video that I put my heart and soul into, and it's really good, and the music is good, and everything is exactly how I want it to be, and a decent thumbnail. I got 120 views. And then you look at people usually click off. They click off halfway through the video. They don't even get to the good stuff. It's that, what do they say? If it bleeds, it leads. Everybody wants bad news or dirty laundry, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's just it. Like, and I think that's why the news has gotten as bad as it has, because like people just want to hear the bad stuff.
Right.
That in our society, that's it. Like, it's funny, like when you hear people gossiping or something, they're not gossiping about this good thing. They're gossiping about something bad that happened to somebody or something, right? Like people feed on that for some reason. And I will tell you, there is somebody that I look up to in the carnivore community that does YouTube. And when I was first getting started, I was talking to them a little bit, and they were giving me some pointers of what I needed to do to get more views. And they're like, you've got to have these titles that make people mad or make them think something bad is happening, so they click on your videos. Like, that's what people want to see. That's what people want to click. And maybe that's why I don't do good, because I just don't want to do that. To me, that's just not real. And maybe that's why I don't have as big of a following. I don't know. That's probably the way it's always going to be. Oh, well. But yeah, that's just not me. But that's what people want. People want to see the bad in things. It's weird. Uh-oh, Rick. Breaking news, 42-year carnivore has a massive heart attack.
What he meant to say is a massive heart attack chicken meal.
Yes, the heart attack chicken.
It's massive.
So we got some exercise. We got some exercise talk in the comments here.
Yeah.
Well, Thomas says he can't do push-ups with his feet. Falls over, have to use his knees. That's understandable. I get it. Bryce Biscuit says, I want to start doing calisthenics. I think that is awesome. And Cynthia says, I like sprinting on the stationary bike. I do them when I first get up. I can't even read. It only takes me about 15 minutes, and I don't need to leave the house. You know what I've been doing a lot lately? When I cook outside on the grill, like a steak or burgers or something, I have a stationary bike in the garage, and I'll get on that thing and pedal as hard as I can for like a minute or two. And then I'll go back to the grill to check things out. And then I'll come back over to it and pedal really hard for a minute or two. And I've been doing that a lot lately. So
That's cool.
I have been getting some exercise and doing it that way. And that's good because that's kind of like that short burst, you know, more high intensity type of workout thing. Oh gosh. So my hot lard video did so.
One thing about, I'll say Thomas's videos, especially the ones where it's like the music in the background. Like I watched the one where he was like decorating his place with his Christmas stuff. It is so unique. Thomas, I think I've commented on that video and I've watched some of your other content. You're doing something different. You're not like a run of the mill. You brought a new fun and entertaining and heartfelt. That's why I think your channel should be 100 times bigger than it is. And I hope that one day it will be. And I hope you continue with that because you're bringing something that nobody, I mean, you found a unique thing, kind of like Rick riding his bicycle and talking. You've got a little niche that you've carved out for yourself with the music in the background and stuff. And it works, man. I love it. I love watching your content and I love doing all I can to promote and help you get subscribers and views because you bring value. You bring value to my life and anybody that watches your videos. Bring a smile to my face every time.
Yep. People like to see failure. It's sick. Yeah. I agree. So they like, and Rick says Thomas could do pull-ups. Yes, he could. Although Thomas says my arm strength isn't there yet. That's okay. You'll get there. You'll get there.
As much as I work out with push-ups and weightlifting and squats and all that stuff, I can't do a single pull-up. I'm trying.
Yeah. I can't do a pull-up either. My son does them, and I'm like, yeah, I can't. I'm not even gonna try.
Thank you, Thomas.
Keto Rockstars likes positive stories.
Yeah.
There's some of us that do.
Yeah,
there's definitely some of us. It's just not as mainstream, I guess. More people just want to see the bad.
Yep.
Look at this. Rick can do 7 pull-ups.
Wow.
Again, was he 58, 56?
He's 58. I think I went. Rick, it's your birthday in January. I think his birthday's in January. I could be wrong. I think he'll be 58 on his next birthday. I know that because I'll be 59. I'm a little bit ahead, Rick. I'll be 59 in March. And I think, Rick, I don't know when your birthday is, Rick, but you'll be 58 on your next birthday. I do know that.
All right. So he's 57, 58. Been doing carnivore for 42 years. That thing that supposedly is not healthy long-term. And he can do 7 pull-ups. And oh, by the way, he doesn't really lift weights. He just does a lot of work, which makes him deceptively strong and fast.
And he's in the sun a lot. That's why I've got to work on getting out in the sun a lot more. I mean, Rick's advantage. He's down in Miami and the sun's out a lot down there, but I need to work starting next year, really being out in the sun more, getting more of that natural vitamin D.
Yeah. I like to see people I know succeed. I agree.
Yep.
That's a good thing. That's always a good thing. And that's, you know, as a society, that's how we should be. We should be trying to help each other out instead of, I think too many people are like, how can somebody else's failure be a positive for me, be better for me or whatever? Why do you want somebody else to fail? Like everybody should be uplifting to other people. And I think that's just going to make a better society, to be honest. But anyway, I can do push-ups just on my knees, and I do at least 50 counter or desk push-ups a day. That's great. So you're going to be able to do those pull-ups pretty soon too then, because you're really building those arms.
Yep, exactly.
There you go. Thomas is going to be 58.
Yeah, so we're all right there together. You're the youngin', Rick. Brian, I'm sorry. You're the youngin' here.
I know it. I know
You'll
it.
Be 50. Your birthday's
I
coming
got
up,
this
isn't it?
hair growing now too. It's crazy.
When you'll be 52. When's your birthday? Is your birthday in January?
My birthday is in December. It is 21 days from now, as a matter of fact.
Oh wow!
Exactly 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I would be 52.
We got to change our opening song because it says Brian's 51 and Johnny's 58. So we got to go in there to amend that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to change that. The vegans must really hate Rick. Dang
Yeah,
it!
really.
Why is this guy so healthy? Arrgh! He's healthier than I am. Anyway. Yes, this is a great point, Rick. If I was surrounded by successful people, my opportunities would increase. People that are successful surround themselves with other successful people and other positive people. Some of the people that end up not being successful and always have an excuse and so forth, it's because they're surrounding themselves with people the same, and they tend to be just like those people because you tend to be like people around you. So that's why you should surround yourself with positive, successful people, because it's going to help you to be positive and successful. Great point, Rick. Thanks for that.
There's an expression, Brian, that I've heard a lot of people say, and it probably holds true. If you hang around 4 drug addicts, you'll be the 5th. If you hang around 4 millionaires, you'll be the 5th. It's like the 4 people that you spend the most time with kind of dictates how you do it. It's sad, but that's true for a lot of people.
So let me ask you about the whole millionaire thing. Is that because you stole money from them or they gave you money?
Probably because you watch what they do and you mimic what they do. Successful people are going to find success, rather.
But my thinking was the quick way, easy way out, like most people think. How can I get that? How can I be a millionaire here? Let me see. Hey, you can just give me a couple million, right? You got 30 million. I'm having heavy metals tested on Monday because I eat fish almost daily. I think my doctor's determined to find something wrong with me. My doctor, I can't say they were necessarily determined to find something wrong with me, but they wanted to maybe influence me into thinking about a statin, maybe because of higher cholesterol. So they had me do the CAC test. And then the other, that was my one doctor. The other doctor truly was like, let's get a baseline. So I think that doctor was more fair about what they were saying. But the other one, I think, was more about that. And 0. So they aren't going to convince me. They weren't going to anyway. But yeah. Greg is right. Carnivore makes hair grow. It's all of that collagen and stuff that you get, right? It's good for your hair, your skin, your nails, and stuff like that. And yeah, look at my hair. Like, I'm amazed. There's really, there's like this receding hairline up here, but there's no bald spots. And there's really not much gray. There's a lot of gray in my beard, but there's really not much of anything on top of my head. There's a few hairs up here, but overall, it's pretty good.
That's the same way
the longer hair, though. I hate the longer hair. I want to cut it short again. We'll see. But I'm sorry, you were going to say about your hair?
Yeah, my bald spot. I got a bald spot in the back, but it actually started filling in. It's still back there. It's still noticeable. When I do push-ups or get down on the ground, you can see it, but it's probably half what it was 2 years ago. Yeah. And it was getting worse, and then it kind of stopped, and then it started filling in. Still back there, still noticeable, but I think it definitely started going the other direction. To your point, with all the meat and the fat and the collagen and all that stuff, and getting rid of the inflammation, because inflammation goes everywhere, even to your hair follicles. When you have a lot of inflammation in your body, it goes to every cell in your body. And that's why, like my legs, between my knees and my ankles, my legs were bald, like I'd been shaving them every day. And now I've started growing hair on my legs again because those hair follicles, especially in the distal, the ones that are far away from your core, your heart, they started getting nutrients again. They're getting good blood flow down there again. So the hair started growing back on my legs, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's cool. Rick says Brian has bigger arms than me. Macy cannot do pull-ups. Here's the thing. I think there's a couple things to it. Number one, when you do pull-ups, you might be using different muscles than what muscles are actually bigger for me. But number two, I have to pull up a lot more weight than you have to, Rick, because I am not as thin as you. I'm still not as healthy as I should be. And yeah. So that's the problem. But actually, just because my arms look bigger doesn't necessarily mean that I'm stronger than you either. You may be stronger than me. Sometimes some people, it's deceiving. Their arms don't necessarily look that big, but they're pretty strong.
I've seen Rick lift a V8 engine block by himself before. I literally saw him do that. So Rick
Yeah.
is a pretty strong guy. But you know, Rick uses his back, his arms, his shoulders, his core in his line of work. I mean, he uses those muscles on the regular. Where Brian, no offense, but you, and just like me, I sit all day for a living. I sit in the back of the ambulance with the patient, or I'm driving the ambulance if my partner's in the back with the patient. I spend 75% of my day on my butt, you know, through no fault of, it's not laziness. That's just what my job requires. Just like you, Brian, you're sitting at a computer. So, yeah.
I mean, let me look here. Let me see what my steps are today. This is probably sad. I bet you they're not that many. 3,562, and that's probably a fairly decent day for me.
Yeah,
because I'm sitting at a computer all day. That's something I got to get better at. I got to get moving around more.
Hey, Brian, I'm going to throw something out there, put it out for the whole audience and for you.
Okay.
Anybody have any specific goals for Carnivore or for exercise or for just any specific goals for 2026 now that 2025 is kind of drawing to a close? Anybody have any specific things that they want to accomplish with their health or anything in 2026?
Well, I guess you're asking me first because everybody else has to type it.
Sure.
I don't know that I really necessarily have goals for that. I just want to keep getting healthier, and keep learning. Like I feel like I've got some good knowledge, but I need to keep learning. And you know, when we talk about science, like there will be people like, don't question the science. Why? That's science. Like you question science, right? That's how you improve science. And we as a human species probably are nowhere near where we could be and we should be in terms of scientific understanding. And what we believe right now could be completely different 20 years from now, or even 10 years from now, 5 years from now. So I don't even know where I was going with that, but so yeah, I guess I want to keep learning and keep working to get healthy. I don't necessarily have specific goals myself. So
I'll jump in there. So for me, for 2026, what I'd like to do, if you watch any of my videos, my little opening that's on my video that shows me scrambling eggs and eating bacon, and it shows my before and after pic. Well, the before was like June of 2022 or July of 2022, and then or 2023, and then the next one is July of 2024. I was at my healthiest point there. I'm not going to say my smallest weight. It was the smallest weight, but more so than the weight, that's probably when I was the healthiest. My blood pressure was the lowest. My BMI was the lowest. My visceral fat was the lowest. So my goal for 2026 that I want to achieve, that I'm going to work to achieve, is to kind of get back to that, to get my waist to height ratio more in line with where it should be, to get where my clothes fit me better and where I'm able to, have more mobility and flexibility, like I did in my after picture of my before and after stuff. And maybe even put on a little more lean muscle. I'd like for my before and after pictures to be a little more dramatic, because I think that might help people understand the true power of Carnivore versus my before and my now pictures. There's a lot of difference, but it's not, it wouldn't grab your attention like if I could get down to where I was, and I'll never look like Dr. Sean Baker, but that's the direction I like to move in, a little less body fat, a little more lean skeletal muscle, and obviously less visceral fat. Get my blood pressure started going back up again. My AFib is acting up again. So I really need to take 2026 and say, this is the year that I'm going to go to the max, if you will, as far as my health. not only with diet, obviously diet is the foundation. That's going to be step one. And I'm going to, just try to get my overall fitness, my VO2 max, my visceral fat, my strength because I'll be 59. That's be my 59th year this next year. So I have certain goals I want to hit before I turn 60, and I'll be 59 in March. So I'm going to spend most of 2026 trying to get to the healthiest point that I've been, maybe rivaling where I was in 2024.
All right.
And I learned from my
while you've been talking, I've been selecting comments to put up here. Sorry. Cool. Thomas says it also heals, and his nose is fully healed. If you've seen the video, like from his nose, like that was cut pretty badly, scraped up, I guess you say. Yeah. So yeah, and it's pretty healed now. He's looking good. Paul will be 70 next year. Congratulations, Paul. That's great.
Yep.
And you're killing it, right, with Carnivore. So there you go. I would love to lose 25 pounds I've gained since going Carnivore. And no, I don't do New Year's goals. I set goals along the way throughout the year. And let's see. I'm still trying to find more here. I fell behind. So sorry.
That's okay.
Yes, Amy does look great. She doesn't look that old, does she? A lot of people don't look as old as they are. They say they are. It's crazy. Look at that. 15% body fat. Dang, Rick, that's great. 15%. Oh, yeah. We want to hear, Thomas. How did that test go? I remember seeing the video about it, that you're going to have that test done. Rick's blood pressure, 90/60. The guy I interviewed the other day, Carl, and had the video out this morning, he was on blood pressure medication, and it's crazy. He started to have issues with heart palpitations and not feeling well and stuff. And he went to the doctor, and I forgot exactly the story. Something that they were doing some different tests. They were thinking about some different things. And he went somewhere for this test, and the lady's like, your blood pressure is like 80/60. Did anybody talk to you about this? And he's like, no, I went to the doctor. They didn't say anything. So he had to stop taking his medication he was taking, and his blood pressure went back up to normal, and he doesn't have heart palpitations anymore. Oh, that was crazy. Like, you go to the doctor and they don't think there's something like, okay, you're coming here saying you have heart palpitations and you're at 80/60. I mean, and that's probably not resting. Like Rick's talking about resting 90/60. He's resting, right? He probably just walked in the doctor's office, barely sat down, and they took his pressure. It was 80/60. So when he was resting, it was even lower, probably. Wow.
Yeah, when it gets too low, your brain doesn't get the blood and oxygen it needs, and you pass out. That's why it can be really dangerous.
Yeah. Okay, Thomas says it went well, so that's good to hear. Bacon Runner says, my physical goal is to run at least one more full marathon. Bucket list is an ultra marathon.
Cool.
That's a pretty good goal. Cynthia, I don't have any New Year's goals. These last couple of years have been ongoing goals and adding to my routines. Right now, the new one is working up to chin-ups. Thomas's C-peptide test was 1.56. I wish I knew what that number means, but he did say it went well, so I'm thinking that's a good number. I don't know. Do you know, Johnny?
I don't know, but C-peptide, is that the ones that's now what's the one that tests inflammation? There's a separate test that does like your overall inflammation level. That's C-reactive protein, I think is what it is. But the C-peptide test, I think that tests your insulin resistance, or your insulin, how your body uses insulin.
Yeah, I think that's the test he was going for insulin resistance. What is your birthday, Johnny?
Yeah, March the 2nd.
March 2nd. Yours is March 2nd?
Yeah. March 2nd.
And she's turning, she turns 50 on March 2nd, and your birthday is also March 2nd. That is really cool.
I'll be 59.
Okay, I
Happy
don't feel so
birthday.
bad. Peter asked what that meant too for his test score,
Yeah.
so it wasn't just me.
Brian, there's one thing I like to do. I guess I should maybe be more vocal about this, but I keep slipping and falling off the wagon, and I don't do as well as I could. And I watched a video today of a doctor talking about, it was a short actually, talking about you don't have insulin resistance, you don't have high blood pressure, you don't have AFib, you have toxicity to like carbohydrates or ultra processed food. I think I'm going to work really, really hard to stay strict and do everything that I know I should do and see if I can't get myself out of AFib, because I'm considering having another ablation. There's a new type of ablation that they can do. It's radio frequency ablation, where before I had the cryogenic ablation where they freeze your heart. This one's newer, it's less invasive, it's supposed to be safer and more effective. But how cool would it be if I could do like you did, Brian, and completely eliminate AFib and not have to worry about any of that?
Yeah.
So I'm going to work really hard and get myself out of AFib.
I'm gonna try something here. If I lose my audio for a second, I'll be back.
Yeah.
All right.
I see where
I'm taking this off my little stand because when I keep going forward, I don't know if you see it, but like this black gets up on my screen.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna lean back a little bit here.
There we go.
All right.
Milton. Rick got attacked by Milton.
Yeah. That was a vicious attack, though. That really was vicious. Crazy. How about this? Peter, 3-year carniversary on February 1st. Again, it's an unedited live. Yeah, February 1st. That is awesome, Peter.
Yep.
Okay, it means he is producing some of his own insulin, the
Awesome.
C-peptide.
Pancreas is starting to work
Good.
again.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. You and Johnny have the same birthday. That's cool.
Yep.
All right. I think we're caught up on comments. You know what? I actually kind of like this leaning back in my chair, holding the microphone here. I'm going to start
There you
doing
go.
this more often.
Yep.
Let's start doing this more often. I can't believe we've been on live for an hour already. It seems like it's been 10 minutes, doesn't it?
I know. I tell you, I missed the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago we didn't do it because of Thanksgiving, and then last week I had an impromptu invite to go to a Christmas concert, and of course I logged on during intermission and just said, "Hey, everybody."
I know it. You were probably not there anymore when we put your comment up on the live stream, but
yeah, I went back and rewatched it. Yeah, it was a great Christmas concert down in Aiken, which is the area that my wife and I are going to be moving to. And it's a country music artist named, he was country back in the day. His name is John Barry. He's really known for Christmas songs. If you guys get a chance, check out John Barry. Spelled out my name, John, and then Berry. Just a phenomenal voice. He is very much a Christian, which I appreciate. That's kind of how I lean. And he's overcome brain cancer and throat cancer, and he still has an amazing voice and an amazing testimony.
Wow.
He and his wife Robin have been married for like 40-something years, and he was one of the new country artists of the year back in like the late 80s, early 90s. Had a lot of #1 songs. "Kiss Me in the Car," that's one of his songs. "Standing on the Edge of Goodbye," things like that. But if you get a chance, listen to his Christmas album. You can find it on YouTube or probably any of the Spotify, stuff like that. Just a phenomenal voice. When you think that he had cancer of the throat and they had to go in there and remove the cancer off his vocal cords. And, he had chemo and radiation, and he survived all that. This was his 29th year of doing this Christmas thing. And my sister has been to 20 of the 29. And this was mine and my wife's 3rd out of 4 years. We missed it 2 years ago, but we usually travel to go see his Christmas concert. And I just didn't realize it was going to fall on a Wednesday this year, but I'm glad I went. And Thomas, thank you for jumping in there and kind of filling the seat while I was gone. And that was a great show with you guys.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Thomas. He was great. I think I had a fun time. It's always nice to have somebody new on our show. Like sometimes you will have a third person on with us, like Rick or somebody. And that's always great to do, kind of changes things up a little bit. So I think it was a fun time.
No, yeah.
And it looks like he's got to go because he got to work early tomorrow morning. So, Thomas, thanks for joining last week, and thanks for being here again tonight and commenting in the chat with everybody.
Yeah. Thank you, Thomas. Have a good night, bud.
Yeah, this is interesting. So, somewhere in here, Peter was asking Amy about her knee pain, and she says it's getting better, Peter, but maybe I'm not noticing because I have shingles on my shoulder and a rash on my hands. I wonder if I'm oxalate dumping. I've definitely ran into issues with oxalate dumping. Even this year, I had it. Remember when I had the thing with the antibiotic?
Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy how oxalate dumping can work. Hey, Luis is here. Lewis, I'm sorry,
Luis.
I can't talk. Lewis is here.
Yeah. So, Brian, I bought me a new frying pan today.
A new frying pan? What kind?
It's I'll think of the name of it in a minute, but I would never in a million years have thought I would spend $75. But I've been poor my whole life, right? $75 for a 12-inch frying pan, but it's non-stick and it's no PFOAs, no PFAs. It's like titanium. I wanted a hex clad, but the hex clad is like $150. I got this one at Kohl's. I can't remember the name of the brand. It would be in my video tomorrow. And I'm going to put out a video tomorrow. But yeah, so I've been using this electric skillet that I use in a lot of my videos, and I've had several of them that, $25 at Walmart or whatever. And I keep just going through them. The coating starts to come off, which means it's probably in my body somewhere, those forever chemicals. So I went out and spent some real money for a really nice frying pan. So hopefully I can do a better job of getting like this when I do a ribeye or whatever, get that sear on it, because I've got, through your influence, actually, I'm eating my steaks more and more like medium rare, but I still like that sear on the outside. So pretty excited to have this new frying pan. I'm going to cook my breakfast with it tomorrow, bacon and eggs, be the first time I try it out. And, it's supposed to be the creme de la creme. You can use metal utensils. You can't damage it or whatever. But yeah, pretty excited to get a new frying pan. I haven't bought any new cook stuff in a while, and went out today and bought. Sam's had my eggs again. For the longest time, Sam's didn't have any of the pasture-raised eggs. They've been out for almost a year. And my wife and I just happened to be at Sam's earlier today buying me some grass-fed, grass-finished ground beef. And I walked into the cooler where the dairy is, and they had 2 pallets of my eggs, but they have limit 2. It's an 18-pack of eggs for $5.54, and they're pasture-raised. And you can tell it's legit because their eggs are different sizes, different colors. They're not uniform. You can tell that they're truly, pasture-raised eggs. So I got me 2 18 packs of eggs, and I got me some bacon that had no sugar in it. So pretty excited. The reason I've kind of fallen off the wagon some lately is because I've been so busy with all the traveling and all the new working and the new shifts I'm working. I don't have anything to eat. So I just said, today I'm off today. So I went and I bought all the eggs, ground beef, bacon. I went and bought some Good Culture yogurt across the street a while ago, just before we came on. I bought some more, what's the stuff we dip the meat in? Kefir. I bought some more kefir. Yeah, I got some more. I got another thing of sauerkraut. So gonna get really back on the horse big time. And got a new frying pan that I can use because my other one, things were sticking to it, and hell, it took me 20 minutes to clean it. So fully loaded with groceries, fully loaded with a brand new frying pan, and looking forward to getting back on track tomorrow. I did really good today. Went to this place called my wife and I went for dinner after we went shopping. We went to a burger place. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Anyway, you probably have them up there. It's a chain, and I got me a burger cooked medium and just bacon and cheese on it. And then I got a salad, a side salad, and I had cheese and a boiled eggs. So anyway, it was a good meal, and I'm getting to where I'm eating my hamburger just cooked medium. It's getting pretty, not rare, but medium. So pretty excited about that.
Speaking of how you're cooking your meat, I did the Target prime rib type of steak today for lunch. Do you know what that is?
I don't.
So basically, so Thomas would tell you it's not very cooked very much. I put my pellet grill up to the highest sear setting
Mhm.
and let it kind of warm up. And I put the steak on there and it was like flaming up like crazy on me. So I think it was on for like 30 seconds to a minute on each side, and that was it. It was so
Wow.
red in the middle. I can't even say that it was medium rare. It had to
Wow.
be at least rare, if not worse. But it tasted good. It was
Cool.
good. It had that
Did you
nice
do? Did I
sear.
see you put a picture of a post on Facebook? Did you do ribs recently? Some ribs on your smoker? Was that you?
Yes, that was over the weekend. Yes. That
How'd they
was
come out?
kind of my not my quite as healthy thing because it had some seasonings on it. Some like dry rub seasoning to it. So instead of just the normal salt, which I usually do with stuff. But yeah, so I had the ribs smoked, I don't remember, like 4 to 5 hours, something like that.
Mhm.
They were nice. They were nice. Oh, I want to put this comment up. I marked. Peter was talking about Aldi has a rib roast on sale for $7.99 a pound right now. Yes, that started today. My wife went earlier and got one. Unfortunately, it's a limit of one, and they didn't have a very much of a selection there either. So it's kind of a small one. So I'm gonna have to go back like tomorrow or something and get another one. And then maybe leave the store and walk back in the store or something to get another one. I don't know. But yes,
I'm
it's a
gonna have to
great deal right now.
Yeah, I love Aldi. I'm glad that Peter put that up there because I will go. I'm off tomorrow again. My rare 3 days off here. I'm gonna go to Aldi tomorrow and I'm gonna get me one because there's like 4 Aldis within probably 15 miles of my house. There's one relatively close, and then there's one a little bit further north, one down in the university area, and then one down in Charlotte. So between those four, I should be able to get at least one or two, and hopefully find a nice one. But yeah, thank you, Peter, for that. I will go tomorrow. I will go tomorrow and get that. That is awesome. I've only got one ribeye left, and actually, it's thought I was going to eat it today, but the name of the burger place we went to is called Bad Daddy's. I don't know if you have a Bad Daddy. They're really good,
Never heard
but
of it.
it was their colossal bacon cheeseburger. I got it with no bun, no condiments, just the bacon, cheese, and meat, and it had 2 different types of bacon on it, and it was really good. $18, but I drank water, so that's all it was just the $18 plus tax and tip.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was good. But I will go to Aldi tomorrow. Aldi's one of my, it's one of my go-tos. Sam's and Aldi's is pretty much my go-tos.
Yeah. So Aldi's got them on sale right now. I think Publix will have them on sale pretty soon too. They usually do right before Christmas. So maybe in
That's
the
right.
next week or two, we're going to
their
see
annual
Publix
thing.
will have them on sale. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another one. So be ready to stock up.
Exactly. Right? And we have
I got plenty
Publix
of space right now to stock up. Sorry,
yeah. And we've been trying to pare down our freezers because we know we're getting ready to move, and we don't want to. Watch that we're getting ready to move it. And actually, we were going to be moving in March or April, but now the builder is not going to start on our house for a couple of months because of the way the lots are that we picked out. We're further up the hill, so it's going to be a little bit later before he starts on that house. So it may be the summer, maybe even into the early part of the fall or the end of the summer before we move. So I got room in my freezer. I can go get me some of those roasts and cut them up and I'll still have plenty of room. So I can do that. And there's a Publix that's been here for a while, about 3 miles that way. And they just built a brand new Publix about 3 miles that way. So I'm between Publix and Aldi. I got great choices there, and I don't have to go very far to get it. So I'm glad you mentioned that because Publix, that's kind of their annual thing, right? They do that pretty much every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Stop and Shop. I've never heard of them, but he says it's in the Northeast. Starts their sale on Friday, $8.99 a pound.
That's not bad. Not bad at all.
Greg wants to know if you bought a ranch home.
Funny thing. So the house we live in now, that I'm in right now, is 2,400 square feet, but all the bedrooms, it's 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and I have this huge loft. This could have been a 4th bedroom. We opted to have it a loft. So we were going to downsize because my kids are all grown and gone. It's just me and my wife. Even our dogs have died of old age, so it's just the 2 of us. And so we were going to downsize. Well, we found a house, a floor plan that's being built in the subdivision down in South Carolina that's actually 2,800 square feet. So we're downsizing to a house that's 400 square foot bigger than the house we live in. But the master bedroom is downstairs. There's a secondary bedroom downstairs and 2 full baths downstairs. And then it has 2 huge bedrooms a small loft area upstairs, and another full bath. So it's got 3 full baths and 4 bedrooms, and it's 2,800 square feet. But the upstairs bedrooms are huge, and they have these huge walk-in closets. And we'll store some stuff up there. I'm going to do the podcast. I'm going to set one of the extra bedrooms up as my studio. So hopefully I can have it a little more decorated, maybe a little more purpose driven, for the podcast or whatever, and do editing and stuff up there. But ironically, so no, it's not a ranch house. It's a 2-story house, but the bedroom, the main bedroom, and the shower and the laundry and everything is downstairs. And it has a huge pantry, 2-car garage, and then a butler's pantry, which I didn't even know what that was. But my wife's really excited about this butler's pantry.
I could be your butler.
There you go.
I can be your butler. I can live in one of those extra bedrooms and
I
be your
got plenty
butler.
of room. Maybe you and your wife
every day.
Yeah. Maybe you and your wife come down to visit us. Well, plenty of room for you guys to stay. Won't have to get a hotel or nothing.
Yeah.
And
cool.
Speaking of that, my wife and I were talking. When I went to Greg's house, I was with Greg, gosh, a year and a half ago. I guess, yeah, maybe 2 years ago. I went to Greg's house, and Greg had the griddle. What's the brand name that's so popular? Greg has the really nice one. They sell them at Lowe's.
My daughter's got that.
Yeah, it's a super nice one. But and Greg cooked on it, and he cooked me and him and his wife a ribeye on it. Then the next day he cooked breakfast for us on it. It was really nice. Blackstone. Yeah. That's 2 years ago. Oh my gosh, Greg, I can't believe it's been 2 years. So I went and got me a knockoff when I got home. I went and got a griddle. It's the Sam's brand, but it looks just like a Blackstone. But we have such high humidity here, Brian. The thing just rusts. I've seasoned it and treated it, and it's just a pain in the butt. I'm not having the enjoyment I thought I would have with it. So the wife and I have talked about getting rid of it. And that since my wife and I saw your smoker, and we seen one just like that at one of the local stores, Home Depot or Lowe's or something, I think I'm going to get rid of my griddle and buy a smoker. I think I'll use it more than my griddle. And I've still got my charcoal grill, but I think I'm going to do a smoker and maybe get rid of that griddle. I mean, it's a nice one. It's just a pain to keep it from, because it just rusts, and I've tried putting, a cover over it, plastic over it. And if any little place that's not completely seasoned, it just rusts like overnight. Greg didn't have, I don't think he had this much humidity up there in northern Iowa as we have here, but, or maybe I'm just too lazy to get out there and do it correctly, but we're going to do the smoker in lieu of a griddle when we get our new house, when we get moved in.
Cool. Yeah. So Rick wants to move into an old-fashioned 1-bedroom, 1-bath, 900 square foot home in many acres. Something my wife and I have talked about that would be really cool is if you could buy like an old historical home, and she doesn't necessarily say like on like a lot of land, but I say like on a lot of land, but get like one of those nice old historical homes. They tend to not be as big, but they got that historical charm about them. They're really cool. That's something I would like. But anyways, Rick, where is he at? He's going to put a shop there, 4 times the size of the house.
Yep.
Wow. And he's going to have a school bus for his guests. I might have to come down there just so that I can sleep in the school bus. That sounds cool.
Rick, are you going to stay in the Miami area? Is that your plan, to stick close to where you're at down there in the Miami area?
Yeah, if you had a historical home, it'd be all original. I don't know. As I've gotten older, like I've liked the idea of like the old school historical type of house, and how maybe some of it is like the whole old school type of simple time living, like in a simpler time and stuff, and not quite like how things are today and that kind of stuff. But Rick says he's got to go north. Miami's too full, too busy.
And was that Peter asking?
Peter says, yeah, can I buy a rib roast and cut it into individual steaks? I have definitely done that before. Have you done it, Johnny? Have you done that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now, I didn't cut it. There's a local butcher close to me that had ribeye on sale. It was like $15.99 if you bought the individual steak, but if you bought the whole loin, it was $10.99, and they custom cut it for me. So I had it cut into like I don't like my steaks real thick, like 3/4 of an inch, and I got, I think, 15 or 16 steaks out of it. And I came home, my wife and I put it in she's got one of those vacuum sealers, Food Saver vacuum sealer, and so we individually packaged each one of those and wrote the date on them, and I finally ate all of them. But yeah, that's a great idea, Peter. Get the loin. Now, if it's $7.99 a pound and you get a 10-pound, that's $80, right? That you're going to spend $80, but you might get 8 or 9 steaks for $80, and you can't get steak any cheaper than that anywhere. So that's how you got to do it.
Definitely, yep. Rick, you could sell the bus sleepover experience. Yes, to be like on what's that, Verbo, where you can rent the bus experience at Rick's.
Yeah, Rick's Airbnb.
Amy's got a video out on cutting your own rib roast. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out, Amy. I was just blessed that our local butcher cut it and didn't charge me anything to cut it. But I don't know. Will Publix cut it for you?
I don't know. I don't know if they would. I've always just cut stuff myself. Once I finish my truck, I can clean up my duck pen where I fatten them up and have a delicious duck dinner.
That's right.
Rick's having duck dinner for Christmas. Cynthia wants to get a barn and turn a small corner for the home. The rest can be to keep my husband fiddling. He needs that.
Boy, my wife would just, if we won the lottery, that's what we did. We'd buy like 10 acres of land and get an old house.
Now, see, I can go sleep in that bus when I go visit Rick, and then I can use the payphone right next to it. There you go. That would be an awesome, like, back to the old times, back to like childhood type of experience. Yeah. That'd be cool.
Hey, Brian, Rick, if payphones were still a thing, how much would it cost to make a call? I remember when it went from 5 cents. Rick will remember this too. You may too, Brian. When a payphone went from 5 cents to 10 cents, it was crazy. And then it went to 25 cents to make the call. It was like the price of a stamp going to 25 cents. No one thought it'd ever do that. But I remember when payphones went from 5 cents to 10 cents, and then from 10 cents to 25 cents. So I wonder if payphones were still a thing. Would it be like $3? You'd have to get, a handful of quarters and put in there to make a call.
It wouldn't even be like put a quarter in there or anything. Like, you'd have to like use your credit card or something. They'd have some crazy thing at this point with it.
Swipe your credit card.
$3 for a 30-second call, or $10 for an unlimited call.
There you go.
See, there you go. Rick's payphone takes quarters though, so we're good. We're still good.
Yeah.
I can scrounge up a couple quarters. Apparently, I'm not gonna be able to get any pennies anymore because we're not gonna make those anymore. But at least I can get quarters. I mean, I know this is going way off topic here, but you want to talk about how crazy things have gotten in price and expense stuff. It's so bad that there's no reason to even make pennies anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
They're worth nothing.
And it costs 37 cents to make a penny. The input cost to make a penny was 37 cents. So it made no sense to continue to make them. But yeah, you could make everything either 5 cent or 10 cent. If it ended in a 5 or a 0. But yeah, it's 37 cents to make a penny was kind of crazy.
That is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. Oh, well. Rick's got video of him using his payphone.
That's hilarious.
I mean, I still remember, like, when I was in high school and stuff, and you were out driving or something, and if you wanted to go see if somebody was home or something, either you went to their house or you stopped at the carryout and used the payphone to try calling their home.
Exactly.
I remember using payphone all the time for stuff. Or you called back home and you were like, "Yeah, I just want to let you know I'm still gone all day. I'm doing this now. I'll be home tonight." You know. Have to use the
Hey,
payphone.
Brian, you remember did you ever have to make a collect call? where you called somebody, you didn't have any money, that you say, hey, somebody wants to make a collect call to you.
Yeah. And then like the operators got a call so and so, and they'd
Yeah.
be like, "Will you accept this collect call from so and so?" Yes, I remember that.
That's hilarious. Boy, how far we've come, right? I was talking to this
Yes.
kid at work the other day. Hell, I say kid, he's 28 and I'm 58, right? So I'm 30 years, almost exactly 30 years older than him. And I was pondering, what will the world, because you think back 30 years, we had pay phones, we had collect calls, we didn't have cell phones at all. None of this stuff, we didn't have internet, we didn't have StreamYard, none of this stuff existed 30 years ago when I was that kid's age. So I'm wondering, when he gets to be my age, when he's 58, what will the world look like? What things that we don't even think about now will be commonplace for him? I remember when I was a kid watching the Jetsons, and George Jetson would look up at the TV and talk to his boss, Mr. Spacely, on the TV. And I thought, that's crazy. Well, we've had Skype and Zoom for 20 years, you know? So it's
Yeah.
be interesting to see what the future looks like for, you know, my kids, and well, specifically my grandkids. My oldest grandson's like 21, 22 years old, and I've got them all the way down, grandkids all the way down to like 7 or 8 years old. So I wonder how the world will change over their life, like it's changed over our lives.
Yeah.
Be interesting to
I
see.
haven't even thought about that. But that's true. Like when we were kids watching Jetsons, like how that was like so futuristic, and like, you know, he's doing that like over a TV. He's talking to his boss. I don't even think about it, but I'm in meetings all day long, especially
Yep.
when I'm working from home, where I'm at home and we're just in a video meeting talking to people. It's almost the same exact thing. And it's funny, we do it all day long now and don't even think about it.
And when I
That's
was a
funny.
kid, when I was, you know, 8, 9, 10 years old, that was fantasy. That was like, you couldn't even fathom that would ever happen. And now you do it every day for a living.
Yeah.
And here we are. Look at us right here, live right now. Not only are we having a conversation with us, we could have thousands of people watch us while we're having this conversation. I mean, it's just amazing.
And we're not in the same states, and we're right next to each other on the screen. Look.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I hope am I pointing at you? It looks like I am to me.
You're not.
But,
You're pointing the other way. That's okay.
Oh, really? So now that's pointing to you.
There you go.
That's great.
Yes.
Because to me, it's going the other way. But and think about this. Remember, I don't want to get too off topic here, but while we're talking about that, it's kind of fun to think about that. Their robot's name was it Rosie? The Jetsons had a robot that was their maid.
So. I think it was Rosie. Yeah. Sounds
well,
familiar.
I'm a huge fan of Elon Musk. Like him or not, I'm a huge fan of some of the stuff he's done. And he's got this new robot coming out called Optimus. And if you go to the EV charging thing, they have a cyber to charge your Tesla, whatever, in California. And if you order like popcorn or something, the robot actually fixes your meal and hands it to you. And then if you go to where they make the Cybertrucks, the robots just walk around the factory all day. And if somebody comes in and says, hey, can you take me to so-and-so's office, the robot will walk you to their office. And the robot will actually converse with you. And, you know, they're getting more and more sophisticated to where this technology we're using now that was fantasy, pretty soon you can have a robot come and be your maid, you know, truly like the Jetsons.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I want to get to this comment I put up here for Cynthia. I see prime rib on sale at my local Aldi's. I may get one tomorrow. Any pearls of wisdom on how to cook one? Now, I did see Amy said you can cut them, which that is one thing, just cut them into steaks. But if you take the whole rib roast and cook it, I've done it a few times. One way you could do it if you have a smoker is you could smoke it, but you could do it in your oven. I don't know if you've done this at all with any, but I've done it a few times in an oven. I actually watched a video from Dr. Sean Baker one time about how he does it. And if you go back and try and find that video, I think it worked out really good the way that he did it. But I can't remember it. You can look it up. It's not too difficult to do it that way, and just want to get to whatever temperature you want to get it to, so you can always check it. But Johnny, do you have any tips for doing a whole rib roast?
I've never done a rib roast. I've done obviously beef roast, but it's usually a chuck roast, and I'll put it in the slow cooker or the crock pot and cook it on medium. I put water. I usually put some water in there, whatever spices I'm going to do, which now is just salt and pepper basically. But I used to have this stuff called Holy Cow. It was from a company called Meat Church. It was some spices. I don't know how clean it was, but it wasn't too bad. I don't think. And then I put an entire stick of butter in there. Just open up a stick of butter and put it down in there. Put some water, not a lot of water, but maybe 3/4 of a cup to a cup of water down in there, depending on how big it is. Put the lid on it, put it on medium, and let it go for like 7 or 8 hours, and then turn it to low. And it always be fork tender and be really good. But I've never done it with a rib roast. I would I would lean towards cutting that up into steaks versus cooking it the whole thing. But that's just me.
I've done it in the oven. I can't remember. I don't think it was that long, like maybe an hour and a half or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember for sure. But I've definitely done it that way a few times.
Yeah. And I have actually taken and seared mine, Brian, sear it before I put it in the thing. So you kind of, sear it on both sides and then on the edges too, the rib roast or the chuck roast. And then that way you get that sear on there. And then put it in the crock pot. And maybe not quite long, maybe it's only like 5 or 6 hours. And maybe it was on low. I haven't done one in a while. I do a lot of pork roast in the crock pot. My wife made one the other day that was fantastic. And she actually put jalapeno juice in there, believe it or not. And it was really, really good.
Rick did a rib roast on his engine.
Yep.
I like this guy. Going back to talk about the robots. Send an EMP and the robot is dead.
Yeah. But so is your cell phone.
A lot of things.
So
yeah, exactly. We'd be back to using Rick's payphone at that point.
That's right. And cooking on our engines.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when we all had regular, they called it POTS, plain old telephone service. Yeah. We had regular telephone services in our homes, right? We had the little copper wire. I think people probably, because we're so used to what we have nowadays, and like your internet goes out or your electricity goes out and you lose all that, but you still have cell phone, I guess. But if you have like a VoIP type of phone or something in your home, you lose that now, right? But back in the old days when you had that POTS service, you could lose your electricity and your telephone still worked. I don't know if people remember that, but yeah, phone still worked. Of course, if you have a cell phone, it probably still works unless the cell towers go out, but Amy says for the rib roast, you turn the oven up to 500 for 30 minutes and then shut the oven off. Yes, that's the Dr. Sean Baker. I almost said Sean Barry. Sean Baker version. That was it. It was like 500 degrees for like 30 minutes, and you have to shut up the oven off, and then it slow cooks for a while. I don't remember it being 4 hours. It might have been. I can't remember. It's been a while. It's been like a year since I've done it that way. But that is the version that he did. Yeah, after hurricanes, cell phone don't work. But those the old POTS service did. I bet. I don't know. I didn't live where there was a hurricane, but where we lived, it worked still when I was a kid. Anyway. Oops. Paul says set the oven to 500, 5 minutes per pound. Shut off oven, leaving the oven for 2 hours. That sounds more like maybe what I did was like 2 hours or something. So yeah. Cynthia says all the new vehicles would be dead if there's an EMP. That's true. So no rib roast cooked on the engine. But Rick's vehicle, would it still work? He doesn't have all that new technology. What was that? Are you breaking up or is it me? Uh-oh. One of us broke up for a second. Are you there still?
I think it's you on my end, but I don't know.
Oh. Whoops. I've been talking, then people probably haven't even heard me.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You like locked up for a second, video-wise, but I can hear you. Yeah, can you hear me?
No, sorry.
One of us is having trouble. Yeah. If it's me, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They sold the old telephone exchange here and they tore it down and put in apartments. Interesting. Well, wow, we are over an hour and a half. We should probably wrap it up. It's been a good conversation though tonight. So let's see where we at. So it's December 10th.
Yep.
We're going to be on next Wednesday. 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, 7 o'clock Central time. Then the Wednesday after that is Christmas Eve. And then the Wednesday after that is New Year's Eve.
Are we still going to do the ugly sweater
next week? We need to do it next week,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I guess we need to do it. We haven't talked about it.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking that the
But the
2
next week's
weeks after
Christmas.
that, yeah, the 2 weeks after that, Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, we'll probably not have a show. But next week we need to do the ugly Christmas sweater thing. You're right. We got to talk about that. What we're gonna do. So, yeah, next Wednesday. Anything you want to add to that before we go?
No, just we'll put it out, Brian. You'll put it out, and I'll put it out. Maybe we'll do a link in the comments where people can click on it or whatever, and they can join us and show us their ugly sweaters. But we'll promote it between now and then. We'll let everybody know what we're going to do, and then we'll maybe vote on who has the ugliest Christmas sweater, because the next week is Christmas. But other than that, that's all I got.
All right. So we'll see you all next Wednesday for the ugly Christmas sweater, I guess. And that's 8 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Central time. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.